Hello, welcome to another video, and it's another in my kind of irregular series called Kill Team Shower Thoughts. Today I'm going to be talking about threats, support, and filler, which is kind of framed around what I've kind of thought about the Kasrkin team. So, for those of you that don't know, I'll be taking Kasrkin to the Kill Team tournament at Warhammer Fest. I'm not expecting to do phenomenally well, but I'm hoping to win at least a couple of games. I actually won a game with the Kasrkin against Zimbad, which I very rarely win against Zimbad, so I'm feeling quite optimistic about them. And I was kind of rolling it around in my head, what do I think they have that other teams don't have? And I came onto this idea while I was showering. So I've done these kind of things before, where I try and come up with new ways of classifying teams and operatives. I've had a sort of video rant about Pokemon operatives, you know, the dogs and bomb squigs and things like that. And I've talked before about tricky versus stats and elites versus horde on a kind of 4-quadrant grid. And today I've got a new way of thinking about kill teams that might help you. Threats, supports, and filler. So let's define those terms. So what is a threat? So a threat is any operative that is likely to kill an enemy operative from full health in a single activation if it is in the right position and you've got and you've played your tactical game right. So a threat is any operative where, in an ideal circumstance, not ideal dice rolls. I'm not saying the stars have to align. It's probable that it will kill somebody as long as it's got the angle, it's got the shot, it's charged or whatever it needs to do. So a plasma gun is your archetypical threat piece, right? So a plasma gun will kill what it shoots at more often than it won't, right? And then there are a couple of subgroups of threats. You've got to think about what is a threat. So you've got things like crack grenade guys, and the various demo guys who are like one-shot threats, right? So they can kill somebody from full health into a single activation, and then once they've done that once, they can't do it again, right? And then there are bully threats. So intercessors. If intercessors are playing against like a 7 or 8 wound team, all 6 models are in the threat category because the normal intercessors with bolt rifles are what I would term bullies. They will instantly kill weak models, 7 or 8 wound, 4-up save models, but they won't instantly kill other Marines, Legionaries, Phobos, that kind of thing. And the other thing I would say is beware of threat operatives that for one reason or another fail to deliver. So the original draft of this PowerPoint, I actually went through every single team, or I got most of the way down every single team, and I realised that when we got to teams, like teams I've not played and not really played against, I don't have any idea. I can read Wikipedia, right, or I can read the army book, and I can go, oh, this is clearly supposed to be a threat. But there are models, we're going to look at the Starstriders for a minute, the chain gun of the Starstriders, where clearly it's supposed to be a damage dealer, that's its purpose, and it's got a better gun than the standard las gun or the standard bolter, but it doesn't actually qualify as a threat because it can't fulfill that first bullet point. It's not a model that's going to kill an enemy operative from full health in a single activation, more likely than not, right? So these are our threats. And then we're going to go on just to define the two other things. So a support is an operative that cannot reasonably hope to kill a healthy enemy in a single activation, right? But that brings some other useful utility to the team. So it's a buffing piece like a comms, a medic, or an auspex. I'd also put things in here that are objective capturers, things that get a free objective action, okay, or putting out auras, things like that. So essentially, support pieces are anything that it isn't killy, but it brings something over and above the sort of basic trooper unit of your team, right? So yeah, comms, medics, and auspexes are the kind of archetypes there. And then we've got filler. So a filler operative is the basic characters, sort of has all the basic characteristics of your team, but none of the characteristics of a threat or support operative. So they don't bring anything additional to the team, and they don't have the ability to kill an enemy operative. Statistically, some of them might be able to if they like roll all 6s or something like that, but they don't have the ability to kill an enemy operative reliably in one shot. Sometimes they have a minor special rule, so they've started doing this now. So the Kasrkin trooper generates an elite point that only he can use, and the Corsair riflemen have the ability to aim for an action point that gives them balanced or something. So they've started to give these kind of filler operatives something, but it's not usually a compelling reason to take them over and above any of the specialists. And if it ever is, people generally regard that as the list having a balance problem. But filler can be recognised by its ability to be spammed within a kill team. Generally, if something can be spammed, if you can take more than one of something, or more than two, or, if you can take as many as you'd like of something, that's generally the filler operative for that team. Now, in some cases, as discussed, intercessors, well, their filler are also threats against weaker teams because they're what we're terming bullies, right? It's a subcategory of threat. It's a thing that's capable of threatening the non-elite models, but they can't destroy elites. So there are some little bits and pieces there. I feel like I should talk about Pokemon. So this is something I advanced before. The Pokemon operative, I still think that's a useful term. So a Pokemon is an operative who is in some way lesser than the standard filler model in a team, but that brings other utility, right? So the thing here is, the thing that singles out Pokemon is that they're generally operatives where you might conceivably go, well, I don't want to take a Geist Skull, I'll take an extra just basic guy with a shotgun. Or I don't want to take a Bomb Squig, I'll take an extra boy. They're things that are lesser in some way than the basic filler operative for that group, but they usually have some sideways utility. So they can be utility Pokemon like the Starstriders Canid or the Kroot Hound, so they have utility. They're able to have, their main thing is they have extra move, right? They have extra move and the ability to pick up an object partway through their activation. So that's the stuff they have over and above the basic trooper, the basic sort of filler trooper in their team. And sometimes they're threats, like the Bomb Squig or the Geist Skull. They have more killing power than a standard filler operative in that team, but they are in other ways weaker. They can't hold objectives, or they easily get killed, things like that. So Pokemon are interesting for list building because, unlike other operatives, there's usually a trade-off between them and the filler operative. They're not a fourth category in this model I'm advancing today. They're kind of a subcategory. So it's about utility Pokemon or threat Pokemon, right? So let's look at Kasrkin and why I think that they're actually pretty cool. So Kasrkin bring a lot of threats. Kasrkin, you have your sharpshooter, right, who's got a really good sniper rifle. It's very comparable to the Vet Guard sniper rifle. You've got a melter gun, a plasma pistol sergeant, a plasma gun, a grenade launcher, and then, your one-shot threats. You've got a demo trooper, and you do have to take a regular trooper, but you can give him a crack grenade. So at the start of turn 1, that's 7 models that your opponent, even if they're playing intercessors or something, or Nurgle Marines, that's 7 models they have to be wary of. And now, it's not always about getting the kills with these threats. Obviously, they're there to kill people, but it's there to, your opponent can't just go, oh, I'll just move there, and it doesn't matter if I get shot. These are 7 models that they have to constantly be looking where the fire lanes are, right? And then Kasrkin have 3 good supports as well. They have the comms, the medic, and Auspex. But with those 7 models, you can really lock down the board and get it you'll have to move out somewhere. You'll have to take a risk somewhere. And when you do, I've got a gun that's actually got a decent chance of killing you, right? Which is good. It's great. I think that's what makes Kasrkin really strong. They're not the only, and this might be a hot take, they're not regarded as a particularly strong team. Maybe it's just something that's clicking into my style of play, right? But they have 7 models that can threaten most anything on a board. It's worth noting that for all these slides here, this is kind of an idealised list. You could take the Flamer or the Hot Shot Volley Gun, and they have niche cases where they were the things that you take. If you were taking, the Hot Shot Volley Gun is, I guess, a bully piece in a way, in that if you're fighting against a fellow, Weenie team, you could take that instead of the Melter Gun, and you'd gain the range, and you'd lose the ability to harm Marines. But I've gone for the most threatening team you can build here, kind of the all-comers list, right? And it's worth saying that Kasrkin also have the elite ability that makes them very reliable. You know, one thing I've found playing them is that elite ability does basically just mean that every time you shoot, or fight in combat, I guess, but every time you shoot, you go, well, I'm going to get a crit, right? I know that I'm going to get a crit because I can spend points for that. And they also don't need to spend a lot of CP. Like, their strategic ploys are generally bad. They've got one good one that they can't use on turn 1. So you think that would be a negative, but it does mean that you have a lot of CP available for rerolls as well. So they're a quite reliable team with a lot of threats. And so I'm going to compare these in detail to the other teams that I feel like I know enough to talk about. We're going to talk about my first love, the Novitiates. I love playing my Novitiates team. I've still probably got the most games in with Novitiates over and above anyone else. But Novitiates, for me, for the way I played, they always had a lot of problems. So, threat-wise, they've got the superior with the plasma pistol, which you can use a command point to turn it into a plasma gun. Okay? Yeah. So you could turn it into a plasma gun. They have the Purgatuses, which are the flamers, which you could have 2 of them. But again, you needed to spend a command point to make one of them into really, truly a threat. And you could only do that to one once per turn. So you had 2 for positioning, but you only could use 1 as a threat per turn. You've got the Penitent, which is the big chainsaw lady, and who was great and really killy, and one of those killy characters on the team. But like, combat always has this problem. If you're a strong combat model, unless you're strong enough to one-shot your opponent, you've got a fair old chance of being killed. Like, combat into elites is always dicey, no matter how big your gun is. Unless you're literally going to kill them all in a single crit, which you're not going to do, you're going to get hit back, and you've only got the 7 wounds, so it's really difficult, right? We've got the Condemner, which, yeah, it's a silent sniper rifle, but it is not as good as other silent sniper rifles that are in the game. And of course, you can have a crack grenade, which helps. And then the Novitiates have a lot of support, right? So you've got the Pronatus, the Exactor, the Hospitaller, the Dialogus, the Preceptor, loads of support pieces. And what would happen to me time and time again as I was playing Novies is your threat pieces would get killed because, you know, apart from your Superior, who you can keep safe, and your Condemner, who you can keep safe, your Purgatuses, your Penitent, and whoever's got your crack grenade, they need to push forward to do their job, right? They need to push forward to do their job. And if you killed them, I would have so many games where they would go forward, they would get kills, and then they would be killed, and they'd trade, and you'd be like, cool, well, this guy's maybe got 2 Marines left, and then you're like, okay, but now those 2 Marines are up against, the B team of support pieces that don't have anyone left to meaningfully buff. So I know that a lot of people found a lot of great success from Novitiates, and that thing I was talking about with Kasrkin, they have that in spades. Like, they are the least beholden to luck team in the game. They have so many rerolls and additions and rerolls and additions, but if your pieces that are capable of rolling good dice are dead, it doesn't matter how stable your dice are, because nobody's going to be impressed by how well you've hit them with your auto pistol, right? So I love my Novitiates to pieces, but they fail a lot on this kind of on this assessment of threats, right? So the other team that I've played seriously is the Starstriders. Now, the Starstriders have a few really high-quality threats. So Euclidia Vane and the Death Cult Assassin are both amazing models, right? Really, really brutal in combat, really capable of killing things in combat, really capable of surviving a few hits in combat as well. And then, of course, you've got your support asset. So we're going to talk in a minute about how Starstriders have got a lot of filler. You have to take 3 basic Voidsmen, and you have to take the Chain Gun, and weirdly, this is the nerf that I'm most salty about when it comes to the Starstriders. I think that the Blasts did need nerfing, but nerfing that Chain Gun without that the buff that it briefly had, it's just useless. You can't even reliably kill a Guardsman with it. It just really may as well not be there. Like, yeah, it's an extra model that you can spot for your asset, and that's good. And the asset is really good, and it's a high quality threat, and it's ranged, and you can spot it from like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different people. But they're almost there, right? They've got you've got this thing where if you take all your filler, you've got 4 filler, right? you can you have 4 ranged threats, and only one of them can shoot in a turn, but you've got 4 ranged threats that can help you control the board, and you're almost playing the game of, well, whenever I haven't used my support asset, my opponent has to play honest this turn, and then once you've used it, they can just go, well, I'm going to run out in front of this guy with a las gun, and I'm going to just do what I want to do, you know. So it was fun, but Kasrkin a heck of a lot easier to achieve the same kind of thing, right? Just in my view, you got the Void Master, who's one of these people who I don't think he can kill a model from full to dead. Certainly not an elite one. He can get really hot rolls and maybe do it, but then so can the chain guns. I've put iffy in brackets because it's a bit kind of like you want him to be better than he is. You want him to be better than he is, but he's not. They just don't have the things and the support things they have. You know, Engine Seer is really good piece, really good objective control piece. Right, fine. And the medics are great, you know, and the cannon to run forwards and do things, great as well. Yeah, and people complain that the asset is unfair, and that it's not fun, and they don't like it being there. But honestly, if they didn't have that asset, they couldn't kill anything. I mean, you could kill things with your assassin if people let you get the charge. The thing is with close combat stuff is, as powerful as close combat things might be, it is easy, especially on open boards. I don't think I ever played these in the dark. Especially on open boards, it's so easy to not be charged, right? By just playing your stuff in such a way that it doesn't get charged. You have quite a lot of control there. So, you know, this is my little chat really about these 3 things. We're going to go on to the last slide. I'm going to talk for a little bit. Is this a useful way of thinking about teams? Do you weigh up the number of threats so versus support versus the kind of filler? You know, I got quite far down. I've taken the slides out now because I wasn't happy with them. I got quite far down looking at some of the other teams in the game. And, you know, the Space Marine teams generally fall into this pattern where they have these bullies, and then like the Legionaries have plasma guns and a plasma gun, plasma pistol potentially, and a heavy bolter. So they're actually the best elite team at playing into other elite teams, right? Whereas the Phobos at the other end of the scale, in that they actually have the tools to really destroy some weaker teams, you know, some 7-8 wound models. As soon as a Phobos goes up against an Intercessor or a Legionary, it doesn't really have anything that it can do still. And I know this way people say, well, there are other ways to play the game. It's called Kill Team, but it should be called Objective Team. And Phobos just got that massive ploy for playing the objective. I just find it really hard. Having played the game for over a year now, like, this team's clicking with me to an extent because it just has people that can kill stuff. And maybe that makes me really basic, and maybe that just means my tactical acumen is not there, that I don't know how to play with a team that's really, really tricky and that really, really has to move around and stealth and get objectives, because I just find when I try and do that, I get killed by my opponents, right? Now, I think, in a way, I'm just revisiting that 4-quadrant chart that I did, where I talked about tricky teams versus statty teams, and then elite teams versus horde teams, right? But for me, something really clicked here. And you talk about other teams, and you kind of go, well, people say Arbites aren't very good, and it's like, yeah. And what in an Arbite is that? What in the Arbites list is actually a threat? Like, what in the Arbites list can kill a Space Marine in 1 turn? Heavy Stubber, right? Grenade launcher. It's 2. The cast can have 7 threats. You know, like, it's a rule of thumb for sure, but it's a rule of thumb that, to an extent, is borne out in the data, right? A lot of the teams that are doing quite, I know Kasrkin aren't at the top or anything like that, but like a lot of these teams that have not got enough threats, like Phobos and Abites, they are near the bottom. So I would love to know your thoughts. Am I just rambling on about nothing? Like, to an extent, I kind of state the obvious, I suppose, but I don't understand. Basically, if nothing else, I'm looking at the Kasrkin and I'm going, how? I never played them before the buff, because I just kind of believed the internet hype. The internet was like, oh, these are rubbish. They need BS4. They can't do anything. And I'm like, okay, But you look at them and they have basically the opposite. Do you remember when the Phobos were previewed and we were like, oh man, how are they going to kill the thing? And I actually made a video like, how are you going to kill teams with the Phobos kill team? Because it doesn't have any guns. You look at the Kasrkin, you're like, yeah, grenade launcher, yeah, plasma gun, yeah, plasma pistol, yeah, melter gun, yeah, sniper guy, yeah, guy with a big ass explosive, yeah. You intuitively understand how they're going to get work done, right? Where work is murdering people. And yet they're not popular. People rage about how unpopular they are. So as taped fest, let's see how I do. My hope is I think Kasrkin play really well into intercessors, and I hear that more than half of Kill Team players are playing intercessors. So my hope is to go to fest and come in contact with a lot of intercessor players and kill them with plasma guns and melter guns and sniper rifles and grenade launchers and crack grenades and mines. Right? That's the theory anyway. What will probably happen is I'll win my first game, and then somebody will come along who's really good and crush me. But such is life. Such is life. You go to have fun. So yeah, I'd love your comments on this. Obviously, off to Warhammer Fest tomorrow. So, man, I'm not a professional YouTube person. Like, I know that there'll be people. Glass Half Dead's going to have loads of coverage up. Go watch Andy. Valorac's going to put loads of stuff up as well. There are people who are going to be able to put up loads of stuff. I'm going to be at the event, kind of trying to look at as much stuff as possible, and I'll maybe get a few shorts up, but it's like, I will put up a load of videos next week, which will tell you what I saw at the event and what I thought at the event, but I'm not taking, like, a laptop and a camera and an editing, I don't even know, like, what, PowerPoint and 3 screens, like, it sounds exhausting. So I'm going to go to Fest. I'm going to probably do some, if you're in the Discord, you'll probably get photos, loads of photos, the chance to ask questions. I will answer the questions. I will go and look for stuff. I will ask the designers questions. I will do the best I can. But producing a pile of PowerPoints and making loads of videos is not something I'm going to be able to do while I'm on the road. So maybe some YouTube shorts. But listen, if you're subscribed to the channel, then wonderful, thank you so much. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. But if you subscribe to the channel and not in the Discord, you're like missing out. You really are. So I know a lot of people are like, oh, Discord? First of all, you don't have to pay for the Discord. Like, there is a room in the Discord that's an extra little room for people that join the members program. And if you want to become a member, that's fantastic, right? But generally speaking, the Discord's free. You know what Discord is? Check it out. It's like, if you're old, it's basically IRC. I mean, I'm rambling, but join the Discord. It's a cool little community. Like the video, subscribe, comment, become a member, do all the things. And thank you. And I will speak to you on... Well, I'm going to have a live stream on Tuesday after Fest, right? So I'll be wambling while I hobby and going through the stuff that I picked up at Fest and the things that I've learned and all that jazz. So I'll see you then. Cheery bye.